Hi, I'm Kathy from the Delafield Quilt Company, and this little quilt today is actually a dog quilt for this guy. Or you can make it into a baby quilt. This is a real fast and easy one to make. I hope that you like the video. The fabric I'm using is from the Furry Friends collection, and I'm using a fat quarter bundle of 10. And then also for quartering fabrics, I've got Cosmel Blue and Empire Yellow. Both of these are solids from Art Gallery Fabrics. This quilt's going to finish 42 inches by 57 inches, and the quantity that you need of fabric is 10 fat quarters, 1 1/8 yard of the background fabric, a half yard of border fabric, about a half yard of binding fabric, and about 3 yards of backing fabric. Since I have 10 fat quarters, I'm going to pull out a few that I don't want repeating. There's 3 of them that I will not need to repeat. 7 of them I'll need to repeat. So I'm just going to go with my least favorites and just put those out of the way. So from the 7 fat quarters I'm going to be repeating, I'm going to need to cut 2 8-inch squares and 7 3-inch squares. I'm going to start cutting the biggest ones first. I'm going to cut my 2 8-inch squares. And then I'm going to need 7 3-inch squares. So I'm just going to cut some 3-inch strips first. And I'm going to subcut these into 3-inch squares. And again, I need 7 total 3-inch squares from each of these fat quarters. I'm just going to set aside the extra for a later project. And then I'm just going to repeat that for the other part of the 7 fat quarters that I pulled out earlier. Okay, then for my last 3 fat quarters, I'm going to just stack them all up again. And I only need 1 8-inch square out of each of these. I'm going to need 8 3-inch squares. Okay, I've got all my prints cut. Now to the yellow, so the background fabric. We're going to need 158 3-inch squares. I'm just going to try to cut as many as I can at once. Okay, I've got all my fabrics cut. Now I just need to put this together. So essentially this quilt is made up of 2 different blocks. One is going to be essentially a snowball block, and the other one's going to be a simple 9-patch block. So to start with the snowball one, we need 1 of our 8-inch squares. And then we're going to need 4 of our 3-inch size yellow squares. And you could take these and draw a diagonal line if you wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and just fold mine. And then I'm going to press them with the iron so I get that nice crease, because you're going to want that for all 4 of these yellow triangles. Okay, once you have your squares marked, we're just going to arrange these to create our snowball block. I'm just going to put a pin in each of these just to keep them in place. You want to make sure that your edges line up of your square as well. Okay, then once you have your 4 squares on, we can just sew right on the diagonal crease that we made from earlier. So I'm going to do that for all 4 of these. Okay, now that I've got the snowball block essentially done, I'm just going to trim this excess. I'm going to go about 1/4 inch from the sewing line. And then we can just press these so the block is nice and open. I'm going to just press the seams to one side. All right, I've got that pressed up. I would recommend that you sew all the snowball blocks first. You're going to need 17 total of these, because this next step, the 9-patch that we're going to make, really depends on where you place the snowball blocks. So I've got a few others done. Again, I'd recommend completing them all first. And I'm just going to show you how to put together that 9-patch, because order does matter on this 9-patch. And I'm using directional fabric, so the direction is going to matter as well. So here's my example of of what I've got for my 9 patch. I need to make sure that the fabric that I used in this 9 patch matched the snowball that's going to be right next to it. I also wanted to make sure the fabric was going in the same direction as the snowball blocks. So you can see it's pretty helpful if you have all the snowball blocks done and you know how you're going to lay this out. So for this top one here, I would need one that matches the middle of the snowball block, one that matches this blue color here. I'm not quite sure what these 2 blocks here, maybe that's my corner, so I'm just gonna put a couple there for now, just as placeholders. And then you're gonna take your 3-inch yellow blocks that you cut from earlier, and you're just gonna fill that in to complete your 9 patch. So you're gonna need 5 of the yellow blocks and 4 of the printed fabric blocks. Again, these are the 3-inch squares. Again, just make sure that it matches the snowball next to it. So then when you have those done, you can go ahead and sew those 9 patches together. So I'm going to keep working on these quilt blocks, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish the top and put on the border. The border, which is going to be my Cosmo blue, is going to be a 2-inch border. So I'm going to go work on that, and then I will come back and I'll show you what it all looks like when I'm done. And here is what the finished quilt looks like. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I just love reading the comments from some of you, and thank you for visiting our little shop at DelafieldQuiltCo.com.